Hello and welcome, Draft League fans. Today we are just hate watching Fortress. It's gonna be a fun time. Alright. Go ahead and link the stream and all the places. Yep. So what are we doing today? Well, you see, I think that Fortress is bad. I've said this for a long time. And what's up, Cinerath? Yeah, I just think he's not a good Pokemon. And to support this claim, Forretress has gone 2-8 in the DPL Season 9. And I just wanted to go over this a little bit. Seemed like a fun time. Good title. I tried mocking with Forry and was like, OMG, why is bro so ass? Yeah, 2 times drafted is 2 times too many. Some might say this. It started out as 3, I think, and then one of them got dropped at mids. Because there was one on a Raging Bolt Darkrai team, and that one got blown up at mids. But, yeah. This is the ultimate cope. Who's the one coping right now? I used the Trigger Eye Fortress team that you'll see and crashed out post-game. Yeah, it could happen. Played a team who had 4E. And there was somehow only 10 mons on the other team. That's crazy. Hello and welcome, Fortress fans, for some reason. No, only Fortress haters are allowed in this chat. Oh, it is the ultimate cope, I get it, yeah. So what makes Fortress so bad in SV Draft League? Well, actually, I want to say this is its best gen by far. Okay, can we agree on that? SV is the best that Fortress has ever been. And for that reason, he is 2-8, going for 5 points. Yeah, 5 points. Yeah, this is peak somehow. Now, what does it actually do well, right? We can get that out of the way first. It's technically a rapid spinner, you know? It doesn't beat any ghost ever, but it does have the move rapid spin. Slow volt switch. Boots sturdy. Gyro Ball is like reasonably strong-ish. It's still pretty weak. Like 40 base speed, if I remember correctly. A Fortress Slander episode, you already know. Well, it's been a while since I did like the Tentacruel's Everything Wrong with Society type videos. I feel like it's about time to go back to some of those. Yeah, this week the DPL semifinals is going to tiebreak, so we're gonna do that next week. Yes, Dougal. So anyways, Fortress, 5 points. Very bad record. Lower than Carbink, somehow. Carbink also a dual hazard setter, but also has some defensive utility. Fortress, if you look at the draft board, right? What Pokemon does Fortress actually beat? Physical Meowcarada. Tusk kind of sets up on it. Valiant, maybe. Gets Fire Punch, but like, sure. If you'll have me, I will be available next week for DPL stream. Let's go. Is that my goat Diplin above Fortress? Yes, it is. Diplin, 1-1 with 10 benches, finished with a higher score than Fortress. It soft checks some physical attackers, yeah. It's like the main draw of it is like, obviously the Meowcarada check. You force it to be like bad Meowcarada sets. Roaring Moon, you force it to run like Fire Blast or Fire Fang. And that's about it, right? Maybe you can like argue it's good into Tinglu matchups where you can trade hazards, threaten spin. Body Press is somewhat reasonable into that. Good into Sneasler. You know, anything that gets like Rocky Helmeted is like generally Fortress's best matchups. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, it's tough when Fortress makes Donphan look like him. Yeah. You get Helmet Chip like twice and get a layer up. Yeah, Fortress is like Donphan if he only got 1 turn. You know what I mean? Sticky Holdy Violite makes Diplin work. Does it? I feel like it was brought to 2 games. Saying it works is heavy praise. Yeah. But anyways, so I have all of the replays from... Oh, whoops. What am I doing? There we go. Dimensions. You gotta think about it this way. If Hydrapple is broken, then Diplin is also broken. It's just like 2 + 2 = 4. Well, by that case, what else would be broken? The pre-evolution of a broken Mon. I mean, all of the broken Mons in SV, they don't have pre-evolutions, right? I'm looking at it. Like, Garchomp is the, and Greninja, maybe like Sprigatito, you could say. Diplin's so ass I Dragon-tailed and a banded Stellar Enam, which one-shot it. Yeah, that was tough. Distant cousin to the Goat Hydrapple, some say, some say. But anyways, let's get into some of these replays, right? Now this is a game, Joshua versus Volt Ninja. This is from week 1. And you see a Forretress on this team. Now this is kind of like, in theory, where Forretress should shine, right? A lot of offense in the middle, and then your little defensive duo of G-King plus Forretress. Generally, G-King can take on the things that beat Forretress, and vice versa. So it makes sense on this team, at least, to drop Forretress. You fit your hazards and your spin on one slot. Even though it can't really do both in any given game, it allows you to technically free up slots for all this offense, which is double Dark, double Dragon, which honestly, pretty cool. And it's placing into Meowcarada, one of its best matchups in the tier, and leads off into a Typhlosion. Okay. Fortunately, G-King, able to take that Eruption, barely avoids the 2-hit KO and slacks it off. Probably could have stayed in and erupted again, but who's to say? Pardon the eruption. Now, rocks go up. No joke, just dicks. It's a funny nickname. Oh, Forretress is in. On the Iron Treads, threatening a body press. And we get rocks up as Typhlosion comes in. But now rocks are up. Does G-King have boots? Does not have boots. So, potential 2-hit KO. And the J. Ricky Citrus Berry. Shout out. I have a feeling this type is going to be a problem. Maybe, maybe. Alright, treads back in. Mismages to spin block. Gets it correctly. Alright. Well, Ninja probably expected the Forretress to come in, as it is going to right now. On the Iron Head, Rocky Helmet. This is the most Forretress it's ever done. Alright, another helmet on the spin. Alright, but it's just going to get him right back up. Oh, a rapid spin, and then you're also going to get rocks up right back again? Yo. Never mind, we body pressed a Clef into helmet. But the rocks do go up, okay. Rocks trade, but you're gonna spin again? No, you just go G-King. Sure. Treads back in. Forretress showing out already. Yes, yes. This is a generational Forretress performance. We just sold half our Treads health for nothing. Yeah. Not the greatest sequence of all time from Volt Ninja. Have to admit. Now Meow in on the Shadow Ball. Pretty cool. We have a Forretress to sack for some Rocky Helmet chip. This is awesome. Oh, he lived. Goat. Not gonna matter because you're just dead the next turn anyways, but yeah. One time stop to Meowcarada, I guess, as a sack, and then got rocks up and spun a few times. Pretty cool. Always a good day when I see a Meow team lose. Yeah, you don't see it too often these days, huh? U-turn on Helmet Clefable. Let's see, did Forretress do enough to win the game? I mean, Zarude's in. That did 44. Shout out. But no Moonlight, so this is just going to be a 2-hit KO. Can we beat Zarude? Because this Typhlosion, is it Scarf? It either lives or it's Scarf. 28 to G-King, that's probably Scarf, right? A Chilly Reception. And we're going to go into Mismagius, alright. Why Mismagius? I don't know why that worked out, but maybe it's Scarf Mismage. Yeah, 54 is crazy. Why would we go to this? We don't have Jet. I guess you can't go to anything else, can you? Knockless G King into Miss Magfory. You mean Treads? Okay, and we just bulked up in front of a Zarude and died. That was awesome. Alright, Typhlosion is in Blaze range. This is big. This is so big. With the Flamethrower. Does 41. G-King, potentially 2-hit KO'd, but Roaring Moon, after scouting the lock, can pivot in. Appears to be Scarf Moon. And yeah, Outrage is going to clean this one up. So Forretress actually wins this game off of getting 4 turns. See, set up rocks twice, spun once, body pressed something. I think it body pressed Clef, but whatever. Oh, Dragon Dance Lottie? Yo, is there a chance? And we get +3 for fun and lose the game. Because this has Ice Shard, right? Yeah. It's Yachi. I remember this one. Yeah. Maybe +2 was enough. Who's to say? But anyways, spoiler alert, this is the last time Forretress will be winning in this video because I'm saving the semifinals games for next week, and it went 1-1 there, spoiler alert. Yeah, here is Hopeless versus Impulse. Alright, Volt Ninja just felt a little silly and wanted to pop a third DD, can't blame him. Yeah, I get it, bro, I get it. So here we see a Forretress into another Meowcarada, so God slotting here. Let's see if he can get it done. Alright, Darkrai leads off into the Torn, Terra's ground immediately, knocks off the AV. Yep, AV for the Raging Bolt makes sense. And Conk comes in, this game was fire. Alright, bet. So Culverberry Uxie, able to shrug off that knockoff and now get rocks up, I assume. Yep, rocks do go up as the Lando comes in, but we're just gonna chip this a little bit with Psychic. Looks to be Spadef Lando, and gets Encored into rocks, so something has to come in here. Probably gonna see a U-turn here, if I had to guess. For momentum, yep. U-turn on the Crown, and now Ursaluna gets in versus the Crown. Looks to be AV potentially, because there's no Flame Orb. And we double our Forretress in, predicting the Lando? Is this DPL semis? No, this is just regular season because the semis went to a tiebreak, so we're waiting for next week for that. We're just hate watching Forretress, yep. Alright, Forretress now is Calm Mind fodder for this Iron Crown. Awesome. Forced out. And now it's +2 Iron Crown, but I think this is AV Luna. Yeah, it is AV Luna, just by the way he was playing it. And, oh, shook a Crown actually. So, gonna get 1v1'd here. Forretress broke into my house and stole my belongings? Oh man, that's rough. Wow, thank God we had Forretress to check the Crown. Yeah, and... yeah. And now Meowcarada just U-turns on the Raging Bolt, which is Boots. So, not even willing to go Forretress there. What's the point? And now Raging Bolt's just taking a Terra Blast ground. Without the AV, Draco is doing a lot, but not quite enough. Are these replays in the DPL server, or do only certain people have access to watch them? They're in the server, in the replays tab, and also on the doc, which is linked in the doc tab. Link is down in the description if you want to join the server. Just has all that stuff available. Yeah, I just opened all the Forretress replays. Oh, I remember this. This is like the NASCAR Belly Bolt, faster than Raging Bolt, able to get off the fast light screen, Toxic it, and shrug off the Draco. Kinda hot, I'm not gonna lie. This was a cool Belly Bolt set. Now I assume you slack off? Oh, you just KO the Uxie, trying to catch the slack off. Go for an Encore or something. But now Darkrai can come in, and I doubt that crit mattered. Alright, Meowcarada comes right back in. We go Forretress? Nope. Forretress once again unable to check the Meowcarada, even though it's just going for a U-turn. We're gonna sack. Now Conkeldurr comes in. Best part of DPL is the team trolling each other in the war rooms in general. Yeah, honestly, I didn't have time to get into that because Forretress just freaking died to Fire Punch. Yeah, shout out to Forretress, dude. Yeah, it's been really fun watching people troll each other in DPL general this season, not gonna lie. Conk is a magician, yep. Now Moth comes out, but yeah, that's AV Conk, and knocks off the Moth. Do we have Earthquake? We don't have Earthquake. So could this Moth win? So now we switched hard Meowcarada on the Fiery Dance turn. Oh my god. Can Lando take a hit? It'll have to. Oh, it does take a hit. But if that Moth got +2 on the Meowcarada sack, that would have been crazy. But yeah, Darkrai, just gonna get Mach Punched, right? Yeah. Dog, what just happened? F Hunter? Yeah, all of that. So, shout out to Fortress, got a Pain Split on Iron Crown and got set up on twice. That was awesome. Hey, shout outs to J Ricky for Citrus. Shout out J Ricky. Why did my AV Conk lose to Iron Moth? Hey, that's for them to know and for you to never find out. Alright, now we have Shawn versus who? Alright, get your who jokes out in the chat. Just get them out early. Let me know. But anyways, there we go. Thank you, Blue. Based Lance Avatar? Yep. After seeing this game, when I took over this team, I always made sure Conk had Earthquake into Moths. Yeah, you have to have that. This game was 2.5 hours. It actually was. So let's see. What does Fortress get done here? Another Fortress in the Meowcarada matchup. So we've gotten, like, very fortunate as the Fortress to slot into the Meowcarada 3 times in a row. Good. This 4E draft was fire because it has awesome colors. I mean, the colors are good. I feel like the colors on whose team are just better, though. I think the Petra is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, but yeah, a lot of colors that are good on both sides here. Good thing that Fortress can't be called a fraud like Gouging Fire was, because he doesn't have any reputation to defend. Double Moth is hot. Yep. I remember this game now. This was a funny one. Yeah. Actually, is Roaring Moon a Moth? I don't think so. Right? Anyways, Hydrapple gets +6, and Zapdos gets Dragon-tailed out. Boom! And now, who is in the driver's seat? By a lot. Fortress is a bagworm, so it can be a Moth in a way, right? Are we trying to use facts and logic to say this team has, like, 5 Moths? Oh my god, Fortress, the sturdy Pain Split, and dies to Fickle Beam. Yippee! So, at the very least, that puts it in range of, like, Specs Moth, so who is going to respect that, get the regen off. So, Fortress did stop a sweep there, technically. But, I don't know about that. Now, this game is very long, so I might breeze through this one. It's a lot of regen switch, regen, parting shot, U-turn, volt switch, all that stuff. Typical who. Sturdy stopped a sweep. Yep. Who gets the burn? So lucky. Frostmoth in. Quivers up, but flip turn into Iron Treads. Yeah. We can speed through this one. I mean, Strength Slaps into Aloe. The reason he's Strength Slapping into Aloe is because flip turn into Earthquake is a KO otherwise. Like, if that Aloe was +0, this Earthquake could potentially knock it out. But by staying a little bit healthier, you're out of range of the EQ. But yeah. Now, Meowcarada comes in, U-turns, because it's who. Always clicking U-turn. Now, Matcha into Aloe is pretty big. Now, we are threatening Mirror Coat as well. This is another reason why you'd want to Strength Slap the Aloe. Yeah, Meowcarada comes right back in and tricks the Sinistcha a Choice Specs. Now, this is like the most that Fortress has ever done, right? Force the Meowcarada to be Choice Specs in a given matchup. But yeah, now Sinistcha comes in, or gets -1 from the parting shot. KO's Mandibuzz, but we didn't need that anyways. And now Aloe can come in and just flip turn, because he doesn't click any other move. Yeah, now Trez comes in. Earthquakes for fun. I get it. We saw the 4 already. Can we turn this game to hyper fast and just get it over with? At this point, Scarf Trez just sweeps, but he's playing carefully around like a Scarf Moth randomly. Yeah. And here we reveal not to be Scarf, so Earthquake, Earthquake. There we go. So Forretress. What do you do? I mean, he pain splitted the Hydrapple. That was cool. Although you could argue maybe the Hydrapple should have Dragon Tailed to break the Sturdy and then killed it next time. Who's to say? Who's to say? It's a high jump Shawn game, so this probably took 95 minutes. I think it did. I was thinking this was a different game. Oh. Who's to say? Alright, now we have Fagos versus J. Ricky. Folks, how many citrus berries? About to find out. Wrong Moth into who? Yeah, you're thinking of the Lax game, right? From like week 1 or something? Or was that week 2? Week 1, I think. Anyways, let's see if Fortress can get it done. This time, a little bit less favorable matchup, right? But still, you're facing the Valiant, which is like good enough as a Fortress, right? You have something that you want to check. And now Crocodile just gets rocks up and knocks off the Zarude. Pretty nice. Trolled a bit with that Moth set week 1. Yeah, a little bit, some might say. Fortress comes in. It is Boots. But the taunt is there, sure. And Crook goes down. Got the rocks. That's all we wanted. Now Raging Bolt comes in because this is Water Zarude. It's going to be forced out. Goes for a Volt Switch because he's ass. But Lando comes in, U-turns to break the balloon, and now Slowking comes in on the Draco Meteor. 35. Okay, buddy. It's eject button, so not even AV. He's just that fat. But Raging Bolt stays in on the Lando, makes the aggressive read that another U-turn is coming. G-King comes in, and now a taunt on the T-Spikes. Wow. This game was painful to watch live, not gonna lie. A little bit, yeah. Now Goldango in on Landorus. You have to assume an Earth Power is coming out here, but no, he just predicts the Mesprit, and then predicts the Mesprit again with a U-turn. And a Volt Switch this time. Cherokee reads the read. Now Cinderace gets the free switch in, but Zarude is Terra Water, so can switch in, or so he thinks, because this is double-edged Cinderace, and that's going to be a solid 2-hit KO. Non-Earth Power Lando's some crazy work. It probably has it, right? Or like Earthquake, because it's physical. Just doesn't feel inclined to click it, I guess. And now Miss May just gets a sub up, which is cool. With sub, eventually the Draco drops are going to be too much. So just Volt Switch while you can. Into Cinderace. Could U-turn here if you wanted to, but you could also just Pyro Ball. Both pretty reasonable plays. Pyro Ball is selected because the Zarude's at 32. 20 after rocks, so... Takes chip on Cinderace, but there's no Blaze. It's Libero, so... No real problem there. And now Roaring Moon comes in. We see U-turn. That would be kind of right, shiced, but no. Just a Pyro Ball. Just 39, which is kind of crazy. Alright, knocks off the Val, but it is booster speed. T-waves the Forretress and gets forced out. Shout out to Forretress, really making stuff happen. Gets spin blocked by Goldango. Willing to bet this Zarude still gets back to almost 100% during this game? I mean, safe bet, right? Alright, now Valiant comes in with the Reflect Up. Fortress in on another T-Wave. Alright, so Fortress, he's doing the most right now. Gets the rocks up, but takes a Hex for 66%. Goddamn. Now G-King, you see, takes 24, which means if it takes a T-Wave, Hex is going to 2-hit KO it. Especially after rocks. Now Miss Me just comes in on the Goldango. Off the back of the Chilly Reception. Now Valiant comes in. Aggressive read. Threatening an Encore, maybe? No, just goes for a Hex. I mean, you can't really fit Encore on a set like this, so it makes sense. Now, will Miss May just switch out? Because Hex is not that strong. It might not KO. And we get the T-Wave on the G-King. That's really big. And a Destiny Bond. But he goes for Chilly Reception. The safe play getting rewarded there. Now, Zarude comes in, gets T-Waved. So, a lot of paralysis being spread by this Valiant. And now Moonblast to keep the Zarude low. Oh, it's jungle healing. It's double healing on the Zarude, so no bulk up, no setup of any kind. Now another T-Wave on the G-King. Do we see a Hex this turn? Yeah, we do see a Hex. Does 51. And another Chili. So not willing to KO the Destiny Bond Valiant. Goes Roaring Moon, which appears to be just faster, right? Goes for Earthquake, knocks out the Raging Bolt. Hex T-Wave Encore is not a set. Yeah, came to that conclusion as well. Yeah, what did Forretress do to you? He's just his ass. And I hate watching him. Now this was a crazy play. Sword Stance on the Synthesis. That was kind of wild. And now you become normal type, so Double Edge just straight KOs the Zarude. Oh my god. Now Valiant sack to the Roaring Moon knockoff. Human? I don't think so. I think J-Ricky might be an alien. Mesprit comes in to check the Roaring Moon as it is Terra Fairy. Goes for the nasty plot, and Forretress not able to stop this. A Draining Kiss brings it back up to full. And now nothing else really takes on this Mesprit. The G-King is trying to regen up, but gonna have to sack a few Pokemon in the process. Better question is, what did Fortress do? Oh my, why Synthesis though? He Synthesis there because if the Cinderace goes for Double Edge, the Cinderace will die to recoil and the Zarude will remain healthy. That's what he expected. But yeah, this Mesprit is just gonna clean house. Never mind, Iron Head revealed. So it goes to Goldango. It is choiced Roaring Moon, probably Scarf. We see a light screen go up, and we see Make It Rain. Okay, so light screen into KO it. Now Miss Magius has to beat the last two with a light screen up. Goes for the sub on Memento. Alright, it's getting spicy here. Protects on the Make It Rain. There's only 5 turns of light screen left to work with, so... Goldango lives the Shadow Ball. Make It Rain doesn't break sub. Of course it does. Now here, do you just go Mesprit? You go Mesprit, yes. On the sub, and now a Draining Kiss should just be the game, right? Or no, you Psyshock here. You Psyshock. Dual screens Memento Gold, yep. And now you protect once because the Miss Mage is out of HP for subs, and you become out of range of the Shadow Ball. I mean, you're already out of range, but now you're out of range of a crit. Well played by J-Ricky in that endgame. I was looking scary with that Roaring Moon, but Fortress, thankfully, he's not that guy. Alright, now we have Fortress versus another Meowcarada. How lucky can you get, right? This is 4 out of 5 matchups where you're getting the ideal matchup, right? The Meowcarada versus Fortress. This is exactly what you want. There's even a Baxcalibur, right? Another Pokemon that Fortress is just naturally good at. Or good at beating, I should say. And Tinglu as well. This is like the perfect team for Fortress to face, some might say. Let's see how it does. What does it actually do in this game? Zarude leads off, immediate Terra Fairy in front of the Meow. Luckily, J-Ricky started off with it being 65 in his favor. That's what I'm saying. Now, Corv comes in on the knockoff. Probably, I was going to say Helmet, but no, it's Leftovers. Now, just a slow U-turn. Just regain momentum. Into Enamorous. This thing, what's the Terra? It is Terra Flying, alright. Looks to be choiced. A lot of Terra Flying sets are choiced. And here, just trades with the backs. Maybe not the most worth trade of all time, but like your Corv is low, so your other option was going to like Blastoise, which maybe not the greatest option. So I get it. Where did our Enam go? To Cancun. And then Taunt Zarude, able to keep the Corviknight low. Right, but the progress is pretty slow, right? 19 from knockoff. Taunts the Tinglu, but Ruination does miss, unfortunately. And a knockoff gets rid of the heavy duty boots. And another Ruination miss. This is so sad. Wait, this is now actually a 4E game? Yeah, this is like actually a good matchup. And Enam is dead, which Enam is like a fairy type that beats Fortress, so Fortress should in theory just body press once and solo the remaining 4. Like you just chip Blastoise, right? And it's tricked. Okay. Awesome. So now we have a Scar Fortress. Alright. And we get rocks up. Okay, trade rocks, sure. Backs in before rocks. And now Blastoise comes in for the potential spin kill. Does spin kill at 12? Not sure, not sure. Let's see. Either way, I think a spin is coming out. Yep, goes for the spin. No Mismagius switch, so these rocks are gone, and the Zaruda is Mirror Herb. So Mirror Herb, Terra Fairy. Is there to check like a DD Baxcalibur? Pretty cool set, honestly. And now a flip turn comes out into the Meowcarada. Fortress comes in, but it's on a U-turn, so no problem. Now Corviknight gets a healing opportunity on this, potentially. Yeah, rocks do go up, but your Corv is now basically back up to full. Can go for a free U-turn because the Fortress is forced out. Now G-King comes in, and you could spin on this, potentially. I mean, there's the Mismagius, so it's a 50-50, but probably just sack Mismagius then. So instead, the Meowcarada comes in, doesn't KO the G-King barely, but does leave it very low after the Chili. Funny enough, this Meowcarada now has a boosted defense. Not going to end up mattering, right? And now a Body Press, almost to it KOs Tinglu. That was awesome. And spikes go up, and because it's a Scar Fortress now after the trick, cannot really reliably spin. Comes in, probably a spin here. Yeah, but you're going to go down to an Earthquake, right? Not quite go down, but if these rocks go up on the switch, which they do, now your Fortress is dead. So Fortress successfully checked none of these Pokemon that it should beat 1v1. Cool. Awesome. Huge 4A value, doing a total of 50 damage the whole game. Yep. Almost a 4A KO. That's actually crazy, though. Regardless. Meowcarada knocks out the Scarf Mismagius. Now Roaring Moon comes in, but it is slower, so it gets U-turned on for some chip. Corviknight comes in. It is itemless, so Knock is going to do less damage. We see a U-turn into, I assume, Zarude. Yeah, so probably going to see a slow U-turn from the Corv. Oh, we see an Iron Defense. This is what Fortress should have been doing. Alright, Body Press doing 30. Now this is a PP stall situation, right? Where there's only 4 more Synthesis, and there's only 13 Body Presses. You have to taunt on the on these turns to prevent another Iron Defense. Because if this thing gets +4, you're really in trouble. What week is this? I gotta put this replay in a replay analyzer. See, this is April 20th. So this would be like what? Week 5? Week 4? One of those. So we hating for it because it doesn't learn fast taunt? Or just hating for it because I think it's bad. And I thought it would be a fun video. Anyways, how is this going? 6 Body Presses, only 1 more Synthesis, alright. So they might stall each other out. This might be a draw, low-key. Yeah, 4 Body Presses, another Taunt. And here's the last Synthesis. 3 more Body Presses, 2 more. And the Zarude is basically 1v1 by this Corv. And that's the last Body Press. So, call it a draw, if you will. The last move is U-turn, which, honestly, U-turn's all you need, right? Because Roaring Moon goes down to it, and backs, if it is not Boots, we'll just die. And it is not Boots. I mean, it was Icicle Spear, so probably loaded dice. Of course. Alright, now we have Lax versus Joshua. Another Forretress, this time into an Urshifu Dark. Honestly, not a bad matchup for Forretress in theory. Palafin as well, another Rocky Helmet target. Iron Treads can get body pressed, and you want to set up hazards versus team, so there's no removal really outside of the Treads, which I mean is removal, but you beat the Treads with your Fortress and you have a spin blocker, so it should not be the end of the world. Let's see what Fortress does in this game. Vikavolt leads off, probably to set up webs. Or into Petch is a put the fries in the bag moment. Yeah, He's just gonna click Volt Switch a bunch, let's be real. I think this was a Dougal build by Lax. Yeah, this is like Hazard Stack plus Spin Block the Fori. Very basic win condition, right? Here, Chilly Reception is a little bit weird, right? Fortress comes in, takes hazards, and the Petron will be coming in right now. Never mind, he taunts because he's the GOAT. Oh my god. How did he do that? So Fortress denied the spike and then denied the spin by going hard Peturunt. That was kind of raw, I'm not going to lie. Now Treads comes in on a balloon on the landers, but a U-turn is clicked. Makes sense. You don't want to Earth Power into a Vikavolt. That was the idea, right? Fortress with a big 73% damage that game. 30 direct and 43 indirect. That's awesome. And now Shadow Balls the Fortress to put it in... Ooh, Citrus range. Oh my god. Shout out J. Ricky. And now Lando comes in, but now you go Vikavolt, right? Yep. Now G-King in, also not boots, so we've brought no boots into the team that can, you know, triple hazard stack into Peturunt spin block. Interesting choice. Eel has Super Fang as well. Yeah, true. Alright, now Fortress is going to get sacked off to the Iron Treads. So what has Fortress accomplished here? So far it has Volt Switched twice on the Peturunt and then died to the combination of hazards plus you know, a little bit of damage. So that was awesome performance from Fortress. So happy we got to see that. And now what? Roaring Moon comes in on the Urshifu. Well, he got taunted. Yeah, he got brutally outplayed by the Deoxys speed. Yep. Now Urshifu outspeeds thanks to the sticky web. Now Zarude comes in. Probably Terra Fairy? Or what is it here? This is Terra Grass. Okay. Sure. But Peturunt able to 1v1 the Zarude. Shout out. So we just lose to Urshifu. Nice. Yep. Pretty much. Now it Treads sacked off to the Shadow Ball. I mean, this Miss Magius is somewhat of a threat, but it's getting weak now, and yeah, a lot of things that can 1v1 it. So the Urshifu comes in, forces a KO with Wicked Blow. Pretty simple stuff. Wait, Malignant Chain has an animation now? Yeah, it's had it for a while now. Alright, knocks off Mental Herb, which makes sense. You want to guarantee the web's turn 1. G-King comes in on what I assume to be a Volt Switch, yeah. And back into Urshifu. No, into Palafin. Same thing. Both force a KO. Zarude comes in, takes 31, is boots, so... But this is Rindoberry with Acrobatics, so it was always over. I never see Petch in OU for some reason, it's not even bad. I thought Petch usage was on the rise in OU. It's like... I don't know. Maybe it's only tournaments, but I swear I see it all the time. Nice set. Yeah. It's a cool Palafin set. Honestly, Palafin has been pretty impressive this season. Not even gonna lie. F that mon on ladder. Yeah, it's so cheap. It's very good in OU. Yeah. It's good in both draft and OU, that's for sure. Alright, another Fortress, another Urshifu. This one I believe is Rapid Strike on this team, so we'll get to see that. And Ampharos. Oh my god. This is epic. So what does Fortress do in this game? It checks non-fire Chomp, and maybe you can set up spikes. Comes in on the Peturunt to set up spikes, sure. And now Agent Flame is just going to sit there and take it. All 3 layers are going up here. So Fortress actually gets crazy value here. Alright, they both miss their attacks. Sure, just get up your 3rd layer though. Yep. Why are we watching 2 Cyber replays? Confused. Because he played multiple games. It's not that deep. Anyways, that is a Scarf Corviknight, folks. Polter reveal too. Yeah, the Poltergeist does reveal it to be Custapberry Fortress, which will be important later. Volt Switch is on the Peturunt. Yeah, with max hazards up, this is looking pretty nice for Cyber. Fagos. And Rocks up. Yo. And we already know this is knocked off. This is not boots. Garchomp's not boots. Yep. It's dragon-tailed as well. When I saw this turn, I was like, damn, it is so over. And Corviknight in on Ampharos, but Scarf Roost, shout out. A Chill Meteor Beam Ampharos? No. It's like AV to check Darkrai, I'm pretty sure. No boots on Mew. Very epic. And sets up spikes, so now both sides have a lot of layers up. And Earth Powers into the Corv. Not great. And Brave Bird brings it very low. Trade with a Focus Blast does connect, and Corv does go down. Only taking 10 from the Ice Beam was so crazy. Yeah, that's like max spit FAV, for sure. And regardless of that, it is going to get 2-hit KO'd by Dark Pulse here. Just 22. And yeah, good night. Now Roaring Moon comes in. Probably Scarf, if it's coming in to revenge the Darkrai, right? You can just go for a U-turn. The Garchomp is sacked off. No helmet. And Zarude comes in, but Zarude, after these hazards, is going to be in range of Darkrai, which also uses its last switch in, so yeah. Maybe I'm lower tier draft, but I never see hazard stack. Yeah, you see it pretty often right now. You see a lot of boot spam against it as well. But here, the hazards are up and there is no boot spam to counter it out. But here, Agent Flame makes the read that this backed Caliber cannot carry Earthquake in this matchup, which is correct. So the Terra Steel Petra does save the day here. Gets all the way back up to full, and now a Custap Berry Forretress goes for a T-Wave, but we click Poltergeist, forgetting that it's going to consume its item. Alright, and now we're forced out because I guess it's Mono Poltergeist. Last move, probably Malignant Chain. Example Fortress is getting drafted for spin. Yeah, and that we blow up on the switch out, sure. Urshifu versus Roaring Moon. We see a U-turn. And now what? Baxcalibur comes in, gets Drain Punched. Now Urshifu at 61. Roaring Moon going to come in at 14%. Can it KO the Urshifu? Not going to find out. We're going to go hard Petra instead on the Outrage. Alright. And now, if this has Aqua Jet, it should be a wrap. Yep, all you have to do is not get full parried many times in a row, and that's going to be it. Lando comes out. Going to see an Earth Power, and then probably an Aqua Jet here. So despite getting all the layers up, it's just not enough from the Forretress. I remember this being a bad lock. Petra the Goat. Yeah, Petra is kind of broken. Alright, and we have one more replay to go through for this, and it's going to be Blitz versus High Jump Shawn. Alright, again, Fortress into Meowcarada. This might be rigged. Like, how many times have we faced Meowcarada? 1, 2, 3. Okay, still 3, 4. And now 5. Literally over half. This is 5 out of what? 5 out of 8? So we're getting the God matchup every single time. It should be doing better. It should be doing it. It should be doing great. It should be stopping all of these Meowcaradas, and it should be okay. But hey. It is a Fortress, and it is ugly, stupid, and dumb. Dashing Vaso, yep. Alright. Now let's see this last replay of the stream. A little bit of a short one today. And now Fortress comes in on the Meowcarada, gets the eject button into Palafin, and that was kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie, because Meowcarada is the only water resist pre-Terra, so something has to die to Banded Palafin. That was actually super epic. Now Torn comes in, now gets the Terra Water off, so now you have a Palafin switch in, but immediately gonna sack the HP on it versus the Zapdos, but we're Cotton Berry, so that makes sense actually. So this is some Fortress complication. I thought we were reviewing a particular week compilation. Yes. Yes, I'm just hate watching Fortress for fun. Don't mind me. Alright, Roaring Moon comes in, forces out the Torn. Gonna regen up a little bit, but U-turns on the Crown into Donphan. If I remember correctly, this is AV Donphan. Yes, it is. That's very assault vest. And the crown gonna go down immediately. Meowcarada comes in, but you have a 88% Forretress. Just go to that. Another U-turn comes out into Glamora and go for Meteor Beam, and the Forretress is dead, folks. That was awesome. And now Glamora goes down to a flip turn because our water resist is at like 40 after regen. So just get the T-Spike up, sure. You'd rather draft a Serena at that point? Okay. I also think Serena's awful, but you might be onto something. No, surely Forretress is better than Serena, guys. Surely. You probably like getting stepped on too? What? Crazy thing to put in my chat. And Torn goes down to Wave Crash. Okay, Palafin might be the GOAT. But can Meowcarada win this? Oh, U-turn to the Conkeldurr. It's gonna live the Iron Moth hit, right? Psychic does 36. Didn't it do like 40 something the first time? And yeah, Earthquake and Amok because it's Terra Electric, yeah. And Forretress once again loses. Dying from 76 to a Glamora. That was awesome. Ori Donphan, Serena Spin Core. Yeah, all of them are getting spin blocked by every single ghost type ever. I just see the vision of a low spinner with knock. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Serena might be better than Forretress, who's to say? But when I was helping Uzi prep in his, whatever it was, PPL title, he had a Serena, and I'm not gonna lie, every single week, he was like, I want to use Serena so bad, look at it here, it's so good, and then, like 2 mocks in, he's like, this thing is terrible, we need to bench this, and I'm like, yeah, just bring something else, bro. You're not spinning into anything. But yeah, why is there a Fire and a Fori and a Donphan? Yo, the double spin core. It's just perfect. No weaknesses, actually, some might say. So that's going to be all of the replays for today. Bit of a short stream. But yeah. Anything else you want me to cover? You let me know in the chat right now or in content suggestions in my server, link down below. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. We're going to do DPL semifinals watch through next Tuesday. And that's going to be a good time. 4 Scizor Genesect draft win. That sounds pretty good. But yeah. Let's Glaze Sun and Moon Zapdos on stream. We could totally do that. We look at Zapdos on the stats board. Zapdos, once again, this is not the first time it's happened. Finishing #1 in Sun and Moon. Just make sure that's on the screen. Yep. Tiebreaks Pick'ems win. I can't do that because it's all my own team, you know. So Zapdos once again finishing #1. Before the playoffs, it was also #1 in ORAS, but since then Skarm and Chomp have overtaken it. Well, Chomp is tied, but shout out to alphabetical order. Get that like 20-minute stream in? No. All it would be is reading the undead post in the predictions chat and be like, yep, he right. GG. Azumarill 3-0. Yeah, that's off the back of the Charizard Y team that Greg has been using. He's been piling it pretty well. Would be a fire stream. Shoutouts Undead. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And then I definitely want to do something about... here, let me make sure you guys can see it. So Torrentee, #1 in Swish, we did that video already, but #1 in SV as well. I wanted to do a video on, is Torrentee solved? Because people have just been spamming AV, and it's just been winning, you know? It's just so good. Why is Aloe 2? Because who is using it? And he's the GOAT. So Aloe is on a lot of successful teams, but it's also doing quite well individually, so makes sense. This thing is probably underpriced by quite a bit right now, so seeing it on successful drafts, no surprise there. Who? Yes. And then another interesting thing to point out, right? Dragonite, Garchomp, Raging Bolt. All of these dragon types being in the top 8, pretty unusual, right? Maybe you'd expect to see something like Raging Bolt, Dragonite, but Garchomp has been seeing a lot of hate recently from, you know, people like K-Crick. And I just want to say, Garchomp is absolutely a better spiker than Tinglu. I'll say it. I'll say it. I just think it's better. How about us sending a SWAT team to your location at this very moment? No. Bronzong top 20 is criminal? That is kind of crazy, no? Shout out Hazard's Chomp, man. Yeah, I really enjoy like a Rocky Helmet Garchomp in SV. As well as like, you know, sometimes you'll get that offensive Garchomp matchup where it's just like really nice. So yeah. Counterpoint, Weakness Policy, Payback, Tinglu. I mean, it is a strong set, right? 0.5 drafted. I forget, did it get picked up at mids or dropped at mids? Picked up, right? Because pre-mids is 3 games and it has 4. So picked up at mids. Another thing that would be interesting to make a stream about is the rise of like balance cores, right? Mana Buzz, the Hydrapple, the regen with the Aloe, all that stuff. Has been seeing a big uptick in usage. To a varying success, right? But generally more successful than unsuccessful. But it does really rely on your build being strong. So we might do a video about that. Could do a video about Meowcarada and how it's like really come into its own in the past year or so. Because if you think about it, right, this is season 9. In season 8, Meowcarada was not really considered a top Pokemon at that time. It was like late round 1, maybe. And now it's like a top 3 consensus pick behind stuff like the Iron Valiants, the Great Tusks, and probably it's going to be behind Torrentee at this point after this really great season from Torrentee. Torn Aura farming at top of SV and Sword and Shield. Yeah, Torn is just that guy right now. Shout out to the mid king Gliscor. Yeah, he's actually 10 and 10, perfectly mid. But yeah, could do one about Meowcarada. I think in DCL we saw it get like a little bit earlier in the draft, and then yeah, I think in DCL it was like top 4, top 5-ish in all the draft pools, and now in DPL Season 9 it's top 3 in every pool. So we'll see if that changes for DCL. I'm curious to know. If I had to guess, actually, it might be Iron Valiant, Torn, Meowcarada, and then after that, maybe you go Tusk? Maybe Tusk is slipping to 4th, honestly. I could see it. Sneasler should be higher because Gambacore. I don't know about that. Anyways, plenty of topics to look at. Let me know which ones you want to see. Where's the Root? I don't see him. Okay, get this, right? I'm going to scroll down to show him, but keep in mind, Zarude was actually positive going into mid-season. Keep that in mind for a second. I'm going to keep scrolling. 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 There he is. 10 and 19. He was positive going into mids. So a crazy L streak from Zarude. Like, oh my god. Skuntank above Zarude. Chandelure above Zarude, man. Pheasantipede. Oh my god. This fall off is generational. Actually, though, actually. Dawn fan? Yeah. Shout out to Dawn fan. Vileplume above. That one makes sense, though. Let's be real. Granbull. Yeah. A lot of interesting stuff we could do. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me. Short stream, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.